Hello, welcome to West Ham Confidential on Revelator Alf. So, don't usually do this, but actually today's video is going to be a movie review of the new film that's just been released called Final Score, starring Dave Bautista. Yes, for those of you who don't know him, he's made 60 odd films, ex-WWFE, whatever it is, wrestler. But he's also played the blue muscly chap in Guardians of the Galaxy. But he's actually this new film called Final Score, which he's a kind of American ex-army forces type chap who comes to London to visit his best friends, or his late best friends, who he calls his brother, family, who in and around the West Ham stadium. So basically what it is, it's set in the Upton Park of the Bowling Ground, and his niece, his best friend's daughter and ex-partner, they are the landlady and daughter at the bowling pub. You know, it's all very nice, all very well. Couple of issues though. First of all, the daughter's got a bit of a northern accent, whereas the mother's got a bit of a southern accent, so it's a little bit not very East End there. Second of all, you know, the West Ham are playing a fictitious club called Dynamo FC. You know, who's that? Dynamo Moscow? You know, who is it? Anyway, so that doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, for those West Ham fans out there who are a little bit still yearning for you know, Upton Park, the Bowling Ground, which I suppose we all are really, this is not the film for you, because there's lots of footage of in and outside of the stadium, view from above, from a helicopter as well, and it's a night game as well. And, you know, you kind of really get that sense of the atmosphere of a game within a closed, tight, close stadium that we had. Whereas now London Stadium, we don't have it. Also, I suppose, you know, it's, you know, you've got to go beyond the suspension of disbelief, really, because West Ham are playing in a European Cup semi-final. Like that's ever going to happen, really. So, and also, but you know what, you know, some of the players, you know, the footage of the players, who are all fictitious players, you know, probably come from West Ham foosball or something like that. But they're actually quite good, you know, which means some of the players are quite good. So obviously there can't be any West Ham players, can they? So, the story is basically Dave Bautista, who's comes over to London, so he is ex-friend's ex-wife or wife, widow, and the daughter, and he wants to take her to a football game, which is West Ham, which is literally around the corner. All well and good. Anyway, so they go off to the game, and then all of a sudden terrorists take over the stadium because there's some ex-Russian revolutionaries who are after another ex-Russian revolutionary who's hiding out in the stadium as a fan, and all hell breaks loose, and then you know, I don't know, MI5, police, the SAS are all called in with helicopters and guns, and everybody starts shooting. They even have motorbikes riding around the stadium and on the roof and jumping off of things, which are all very nice. But you know, it's, you know, there's some big stars in this film. Pierce Brosnan is in there. Ray Stevenson, who some of you might know, he's from a lot of the Thor films. He did Punisher 2, if you know that, and he's done lots of sort of cameo roles or smaller roles in many other films. So he's playing one of the main, they're playing the two main Russian revolutionary protagonists, I suppose. But, you know, I don't know what it is. I don't want to say we shouldn't give British actors or Irish actors, you know, roles in films. But, you know, you think, well, they're English or Irish actors, you know, putting on a Russian accent, and they all sound a little bit like, you know, comparethemarket.com, you know, the meerkats. Yes, Dmitry, how are you? Yes, I'm very well, then comparethemeerkat.com, до свидания, спасибо. You know, it's all that kind of stuff, you know, whereas I'm sure there are lots of fine Russian actors out there. They've done lots of films, and they'd be much better, much more convincing in that role as well. However, that's not to say that they weren't any good. They're actually very good. In that, the film itself, do you know what? It's a yarn. It's, you know, there's explosions, there's shooting, gunfight, and it's all a little bit, you know, nobody seems to know what's going on until the 85th minute, and, you know, it's a little bit far-fetched, isn't it? You know, the whole crowd is shut down, all mobile phones are all switched off, or nobody can get a signal. Well, that's a bit like being in the London Stadium right now, isn't it? So, you know, no shock there. You know, West Ham are playing really well on the pitch, I suppose. Oh, you know, one nice thing, they've actually got some actual football commentators, who are real life football commentators doing the commentary on the football as well, so like Jonathan Pearce and things like that. So that's pretty good. I think they even got Tony Cottee in the commentators box as well. He actually gets shot in the head, I think, as well, as does a couple of other commentators. So, you know, that's I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, especially as recently he says we should have kept David Moyes, you know. As for Dave Bautista, well, do you know what? He's one of those big action heroes. It's all muscle. He actually fights this other colossus of a man who's a real muscle bound. I mean, why they insist of, you know, wearing sleeveless t-shirts, I do not know. To obviously show off their big muscles, of course, you know. But you know what? It's a romp of a film. It's if you like that kind of thing, it's okay. It's, you know, it's good action. Fun, you know, it's you know, you would have thought, well, they got blood covered all over their faces, you know, just go, you're in a toilet, just wash your face, you know, why do you have to carry on with blood over your face? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Stand out like a sore thumb. But anyway, watch the film, see what you think. You'll get lots of memories from you know, Upton Park, Burning Ground, and you know, it'll kind of make you feel a little bit homesick. I'm sure it will, in some respects. That's if you're a West Ham fan. If you're not a West Ham fan, then you probably just think, well, what the hell, it's a game. Yeah, the usual references with, you know, Americans calling it soccer instead of football, and, you know, people getting hacked off by that. But, you know, overall, it's, you know, it's all right. It's you know, no popcorn, just only talk of hot dogs in this film, apparently, as well. So it's a good show. It's, you know, right at the end, you know, there's a big explosion, and you kind of think, well, is that the way that's how they brought down the ground? Was it like by a big massive explosion? I don't know. Obviously not. I'm just saying that. Anyway, but it was an interesting film to watch from the point of view of being a West Ham fan, from the fact of that it was shot in the area at the ground, and, you know, there's lots of extras and West Ham shirts and all that kind of stuff. So obviously I'm sure they got some actual footage from past games and stuff like that. So from that point of view, it kind of worked. The English accents, if you like, they weren't hammed up too much by, you know, for the American market, I suppose. They had a couple of actors you might recognise. One, he's played lots of bit parts in recent years, but he's actually one of the main actors in With Nail and I from many years ago. So he plays like the big police man in the film. But, you know, look, it's all right. You know, it's not Shakespeare, that's for sure. But it's good. Now, Dave Bautista apparently is West Ham's new #1 fan after he was spotted at London Stadium being interviewed about the film, obviously, and in a West Ham shirt and giving it, oh dear, come on you Irons. So you know, I'm sure he isn't a West Ham fan. I'm sure he's more of a American football, you know, kind of guy. But you know what? The fight scenes are pretty good. The motorbike scenes are pretty good, if not far-fetched, of course. But, you know, overall, a little bit of humour in there. Good mix, good, you know, action, adventure. It's you know, it's not for girls, that's for sure. You know, it's not a rom-com, that's for sure. But if, you know, after a few sherbets, you want to sit down in the evening and watch a film that you don't have to think about, let's put it that way, then this is a film for you. Anyway, final score is the the movie. Dave Bautista, blue muscle man from I was going to say Lord of the Rings, Guardians of the Galaxy, is in it. Lots of other stars are in it. There's explosions, West Ham, explosions, West Ham, explosions, and a bit more West Ham. But it's at the cinemas now, I think, and it's also on Sky. They've got some deals showing films at the same time, which I've just seen myself. So there you go. Right, that's this movie review. It's all right, I would say 6 out of 10. I don't know, that seems like a fair enough score, doesn't it? A fair enough score for final score. There's a thumbs up. There we go. So thanks for watching this West Ham Confidential, and catch you on the next one, whenever it is. Cheers.